Hey, boo,
Hey,
hey.
hey,
Look at you looking delicious and fabulous.
look at you glowing over there.
Look, I had to kind of pull it together, okay? Get
You
myself
look
together.
amazing.
How's your Saturday going?
It's going good. I did my woman boot camp this morning on Zoom. So
Yes,
my legs are a little shaky right now. But
yes, because you know you give it all. You give it all to the girls all the time. You guys, Arie does not miss a beat.
at all.
She like whenever I call her or whenever I see her on Instagram, she's one of those women that just continues to go. And I thought, I think I'm a boss. I thought that I have a lot going on. But when you see Arie is busy from 5 a.m. to midnight and then up again doing it. Tell us about like where do you get your inspiration and your drive, Arie?
Girl, I'm a single mama. So, you know what I mean? I have a little one that A is looking up to me and B that I have to provide for.
Yeah.
And I got dreams. You know what I mean? Ever since I was little, like I've had a promise in my heart. God put a promise in my heart.
Yeah.
He told me I was gonna one day be great. And I gotta live up to that. You know what I mean? It's a promise that I gotta fulfill. So, I just keep my eyes on the prize and I stay focused and don't let nothing like veer me off track. If it gets me a little off track, gotta refocus.
Absolutely, absolutely. I have my Aunt Danny here in the comments. She's like, "Wait, I missed the introduction." I'm like, "Aunt Danny, you missed it, girl. This is Arie Rose. I'll let her do her full, introduction, but she's an author. She's a motivational speaker. She used to be in news broadcasting. I mean, she is an women's empowerment coach. She absolutely does it all. But Arie, give us the whole Rolodex of what you do, boo.
Oh my God. You want me to go down the list?
Yes, yes.
Hi,
Yes.
Danny, by the way. Thank you for asking. So yeah, I'm a two-time author. One of my books that I wrote is actually right here next to me in my office on my desk called Fight the Funk.
Fight the Funk.
Fight the Funk. I also have my own Woman Empowerment Academy called Destination Her. This is just like my working binder. You see it says Destination Her somewhere.
Yes, love that.
So this is like all my girls are in there. So I do women empowerment. I'm an author. I have a beautiful 17-year-old daughter who just got accepted to UC Irvine. So I'm super excited about that. Yeah, I mean, I just make sure to stay focused on everything that I do, that it makes sense to my purpose and my passion, which is feeding people's soul, nourishing them back to life, letting them know they're not alone.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, especially now, Cassie, it's like all of us kind of have so many different emotions. Some of us are feeling alone. Some of us feel anxiety, fear, uncertainty, anger. There's just so many emotions. And I find that a lot of people just think that it's just them. And it's not. We all feel like that. I was talking to a girlfriend yesterday and she said, I just feel unmotivated. Like I just wake up and I want to cry. And I think we can all relate to that at some point or another, during this pandemic, during a civil rights revolution that we're going through. And then you put life on top of that, and then financial struggles, and then, uncertainty with, am I going to have a job? Am I going to be furloughed? Are they going to call me back? Are they not? They're opening it. And I think it's so important for us to just kind of talk to each other and be like, girl, I feel it too.
Yeah.
It's totally normal.
Yeah.
And it's not even like yes, you want to have a strong mindset, but even the strongest people right now are still going through a roller coaster of emotions.
And that's really why I created this show, because, I just know this to be true, Arie, that women, no matter what age you are, no matter what race you are, when we get down to the human spirit and our human connection, girl, we are all going through the same thing.
Absolutely.
If we pulled the women who are in our IG Live today and said, share your story, you would have so many aha moments, and you would think, I can't believe that someone else is going through the same thing.
Absolutely. I mentor a ton of women on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
Like this month alone completely sold out for July. Like I don't have any slots until August. And thank you,
People
Lord Jesus,
better
such a
get on,
blessing.
right? Blessings.
Blessings upon blessings. But I'll tell you, all the women have a similar story.
Yeah.
You know, well, we all go through the same thing where we put ourselves last. We don't put ourselves first. You know, we don't even take the time to take a bath. You know, if I say, like, what does self-care look like? Most of the girls are like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Jesus, like, I can't believe I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
And I'll say, like, hey, this week, take a bath. And then, like, I'll talk to them next week. And I'll say, take a bath. If the water gets cold, refill it. Sit there for an hour. Put a candle on. Put your phone on. Do not disturb. Put your favorite music on, minus Smokey Robinson, you know.
Yes.
Living into the oldies on Pandora.
Yes.
And lay there. And then, like, the next week, all my girls are like, oh, my God, Arie, thank you for that. That little thing did so much for me.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important for us to connect. And even, like, that little tip, that little just do this, girl, it's like, huh, look at that. I haven't even thought about doing this in so long.
Because people often think that self-care means this glam experience that I love to create and have, but it's also about the smaller things that you can just do. And I know that this week for me, I was like, my sister's in here, and she was like, you running the bath at 6 o'clock? And I was like, yes, girl, it's Tuesday at 6, and I'm just getting in the tub because I just needed to just have that moment of reflection, that moment of meditation where you sit still, where you get all the noise out and, you know, just appreciate the time with self.
Yeah.
Because if you don't connect to yourself, you are not going to be any good to the babies, to the world, to your job, to your man, to your woman, to anything. You know what I mean?
Yep. You got to refresh yourself. You got to nourish yourself. You got to, you know, breathe life back into yourself. I was actually on a call with this lady, and she gave me such a good idea that I had never thought about, because I'm very much into like prayer candles, and I take my time to like sage, and I take my time to light my incense, and I really, really clear my energy like as often as possible, especially because, you know, we're around a lot of people. I'm getting a lot of energy from women on a daily basis on my coaching calls and things like that. So, and she said, Arie, I want you to take 5 deep breaths and call your energy back in. Call the energy that you've given to your friends, that you've given to your daughter, that you've left on social media, and just bring it all back into you. And when you bring it in, just imagine yourself clearing it, imagine yourself cleansing it. And every breath you take, bring that in, and then take a couple breaths and release any like negative energy that you've been having. And I've been doing that for like a week now.
Yes, girl.
Like not even every day, but maybe every other day. Because, you know, I forget stuff too. You know, you get busy. Girl, it is life-changing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who would have thought? Because when I sage, I always imagine like I'm picking up like a thread, like a ball of like a knitting ball, right?
Yes.
And so I'm always walking around the house, and I feel like I'm just pulling like whatever's like dark, and I roll it into a ball. And that's what I imagine as I'm saging and I'm praying, and then like push it out the front door, you know?
Yeah.
And that works amazing. Like I love it. But I never sat within myself and called every bit of energy that I've given out.
Yeah. And you know what? We need that, because I think something just as simple as first, just thanking the Lord that we even have breath in our bodies. Right?
Yes.
And then the next layer of that is we are on the go. Girl, we on the go and moving. And just to take those intentional moments. Really to breathe in and to breathe back out what you're giving, because we give so much. Every woman on this call, man on this call, imagine, just think about it. I wonder if we can even do a list of like, I gave my energy to this, I gave my energy to that, I poured into this person, I poured into that person.
Yes.
Gosh, it can be a lot.
You know, I had a girl that I was speaking to last week, and she literally, I said, you know, like just wake up, put your robe on, take a shower first thing in the morning, put your face cream on, go to the kitchen and just get a cup of coffee and drink it. Like sit and, you know, wake up before everyone wakes up in the house. Like just sit on the couch and just drink your coffee, sip it, sit on the balcony. And she said, Arie, I don't even have a favorite cup of coffee. She said, I don't even know what that's like. She's like, I don't even think I have like my own coffee mug. Like,
Yeah.
And it's crazy because us women, we're always pouring into people. We're go, 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 go. Like, you forget the smallest things. Like, I don't even know what kind of coffee I really like, or
Yeah.
like my mug,
And
my
deeper
go-to.
than that, Arie, deeper than that though, it's like we're pouring into everything and everyone else, but who fills our cup?
Right.
Who fills our cup?
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if we get tapped into definitely our Lord and our God, but just it's about that of us taking that back and being the bosses that we are and
Yep.
filling our own cup. And shame on us if we let our cup empty. If I let my cup get on empty,
that's your fault.
me.
That's your
Because
fault.
the time is now.
And I think like you have to want to educate yourself on how to become a better person, on how to find true joy.
Yeah.
There's a difference between happiness and joy. Happiness is temporary.
Okay.
Happiness is I just got a Gucci purse from my man.
Right.
Happiness is my stimulus check dropped in.
Boom.
Happiness is, right? Those are happiness, right? Unemployment kicked in finally. Happiness. Right. But joy is my unemployment did not kick in, but I'm still happy regardless within because I know that God's got me and I'm not going to worry about it. Yeah. That's joy. That's good. It's when shit hits the fan, excuse my language, I'm so sorry.
Don't worry.
But it's when shit hits the fan and you still know you are good.
Yeah.
And so I try to tell people, like, in my book, even in this book, In Fight the Funk, the first page in this book, I literally say this: Lord, I pray that you put your hands upon each and every one of your children that are taking the time to read this book. I'm asking you, Lord, that as I type these words to fill these pages, that you work through me and help me fill these pages with what your children need today. Give them the strength to continue to work on themselves daily, to become who they are meant to be. Provide them with clarity so they may find their purpose on earth. In your name we pray, amen. That's the first page of my book, and I'm standing at an altar in church.
Look at that.
And I tell people this: I'm not the one to push religion, Christianity, none of that down your throat. But I will say you have to connect to the source. You got to connect to a higher power, whatever that is, whether if it's a star, a tree, Buddhism, whatever. Yeah. But in order for you to succeed and have a strong foundation for when life comes and throws rocks at you and things happen,
you gotta have that.
You have to be connected to a higher source, whatever that looks like for you, so you have that steady ground and that foundation.
Yeah. Arie, taking me back to that page when you were sitting there and writing that first book, because even writing a book is just there's probably women, all over the world who are like, I wish I could just start, I wish I could just do this today. That's why I even started this platform. The time is now, because I just said, my sister's like, stop waiting and just go.
Just do it.
Arie, take me back to that, either that first page you started to type or even that picture. And where were you in your life? Like, what was going on with you? What was the funk in your life that you had to fight?
You see me do that deep breath, like you just took me all the way back to the trauma.
Right?
Super long story short. I have reinvented myself about 10 times in my life. And I advise every single person that's on here to reinvent until you are completely full of joy.
Somebody pin that. Somebody type that in, because that is it. Reinvent yourself. Yes, Arie. Yes.
Reinvent yourself. And I was on my third reinvention. I had been, I went from being a mother, a single mother, doing pedicures, to a cosmetologist with 2 hair salons and 33 employees, to going back to college and interning for free, to then moving up in my life to being a TV host, 5 p.m. primetime, a producer at Estrella TV and Mundo Fox, like in productions, right? They're Lieberman Productions. Well, one day, I get laid off. There's no more budget. So how is it that I have sacrificed everything I've done in my businesses to go back to school to do this, and now I am, back on the street? So I go home devastated. I am crying. My mentor at the time, he was the vice president for Univision. He said, Arie, pull out your phone and record yourself right now. And I said, I'm not going to record myself. Who's going to listen to me? I sound dumb. Lo and behold, I did not know that was the first day of me becoming an empowerment speaker.
Wow.
I fell into a funk for about 2-3 weeks. And it got down to the point where I literally, no lie, had 17 cents in my bank account. And
we have all been there.
Absolutely.
We have all been there.
And the first thing I said was, what am I going to do to pull myself out of this funk?
Yeah.
I know I have an audience of about 15,000 followers, and I see people are talking about email lists. So how can I grow my email list?
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I'm going to give these people something free so I can, in exchange, collect their emails. Well, I decided I was going to write an 8-page PDF called Fight the Funk. And I was going to do the research to teach myself how to get out of this funk, to get ahead. And in return, I was going to give that to the world.
Yeah.
I closed my eyes, said that prayer, typed it with my eyes closed.
Right.
I sat in front of my laptop and I said, I don't want to speak words that aren't going to resonate and people are just going to push them to the side. So I start typing. Girl, I wrote 130 pages.
Because it was already in you. You had this story.
It was in me. God worked through me, whatever you want to call it. And I just kept typing and typing and typing and typing. I am not joking. This book went #1 on Amazon in the first week.
But look at that validation and confirmation.
I made enough money to do a 10-city tour. The first week it went like that, I got interviewed by NBC, and they said, well, Arie, when does your book tour start? And the money hadn't kicked in yet. And I wanted to be like, you guys, if you only knew, I only have a couple bucks in my bank account.
Yeah.
But when the money dropped in, I said, you know what? I'm going to travel America, pick 10 top cities.
Wow.
And I am going to go and sell tickets and empower women and teach them how to fight the funk and teach them how to slay from within, not just slay your contour.
Right.
And every city I went to, I would sell out.
Yeah.
And I would take that money and take myself to the next city. Take that money and keep going.
Right. Arie, really quickly, the person who helps me fight the funk is my mama, and she's in here. And so I'm like, I'm going to stop and say, hi, mama. I love you.
Hi, Mom.
My mom is just so resilient, Arie. And
that's amazing.
She is a person who, like, no matter what happens, she gets back up. She continues to fight. I'm always so proud of her.
You have to.
And I think, like, I love that part of your story because you just did what was on your heart and what was called to do, right? And then God, he showed you the blueprint. He just kind of just said, oh, you're going to do a book tour. Oh, you're going to go from 17 cents to #1 bestseller on Amazon.
It's crazy.
Right.
And that's why I tell people, like, you have to have faith in yourself, and you have to have, most importantly, you have to remember that promise in your heart is real.
Yeah.
It is valid. Yeah. And our problem is we allow society to pump fear into us and to build insecurities. And that's why it's so important for us to take that moment of self-care, of self-reflection, and rebuild ourselves back up, because we can't chase our dreams if we're full of insecurities.
Yeah. But that's hard, because even though, like, I'm 36 and I've done the work, and there will still be some insecurities that will come up.
Absolutely.
And it'll show up in these ways that you're like, wow, I thought I've already dealt with that. Okay, I'm also very aware of that, but it'll still come up. And so I wonder, #1, it's like, is this something that is just innate in us? You know what I mean? Like, as little children, as you start to look at other people and you start to just kind of think, well, I don't have that or have this. And how do we combat that? And then how do we drive our womanhood in this world? You know what I mean? Because I look at you, and I wanted my guests to be so diverse, right? I'm like, I want everyone. I want this to be a place where we all can discuss, because we all have this human connection and thread. Right. And it's like, girl, I don't know where you grew up, Arie, but wherever I grew up, I'm sure we have the same experiences. And so what drives your womanhood, Arie? Like, how do you continue to push that insecurity away that we all have in ourselves?
Well, 1, therapy. I go to therapy every Monday. To know when to call out the voice that is the insecurity voice, the fear voice, the subconscious. So there are times, like, I have gone into big meetings and I get nervous because I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm not enough yet. Oh my God, like, you're going to blow this, or you're going to blow it. And I'm just like, shut up. you got this. God is with you.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a yes, it's because it's meant to be. And if it's not, it's because God is redirecting you. So stop tripping. You're going to do the best. You are ready. That's why you're in this room, period.
Yeah.
And you have to have those conversations with yourself. And that's what I talk about when you have to have these self conversations. They're so important. Just like when you get upset, it's like, okay, anger stems from something else. So you have to sit back and say, why am I feeling angry? Oh, it's because this is my boyfriend disappointing me again. So now what do I have to do to fix that? I need to sit him down and let him know, hey, I was upset because I felt let down again. And you get what and you got to work through those things. You have to learn to talk yourself through these things.
Yeah, I think that that's important, the communication piece, right? Because we always, you know, I work with young girls and we always say, you got to get that out. We have even young girls to even grown women, our mamas, grandmothers, they have these stories that are in their heart that they never said, that they just kind of kept silencing. And they kept tucking it away. And either two things are going to happen. Once it's going to blow up and you're going to end up cursing everybody out and pushing everybody away.
Yeah.
Or you could become so toxic and unhappy.
Yes.
You ever walk into somewhere and you just see somebody and their energy is just off?
Oh, yeah. Reason? Absolutely.
And you're like, what? And I'm learning, I don't want to judge anyone. Because I just think like that person must be having a lot on their hearts. And if only we had a place and a space where they can communicate and share it out. Because don't you feel better after a good cry?
Oh, girl, I'm like the best crier. I go into my, and you know, and I think that's one thing that everyone that's on here watching is, if you feel like you need to cry, go into your shower and cry and do those ugly cries. Don't be trying to look cute, sis, in the shower. Like, do that ugly, do that cry where you can't even breathe and let it out.
Yeah.
You got to allow yourself to have that.
I'm smiling, not because of the moment, but I had this time where I was going through there's times where I feel pressure or I just feel a little anxiety.
Yeah.
And I scream. And I scream so loud for no reason. And my sister, she was over here and I just did a couple screams. And she's like the calm, cooler than a cucumber, you know, and she's just like, okay, are you done? Are you ready? And I was ready. But that is sometimes, you know, if you look at infants and babies, they cry for their emotion or they scream.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's something inside of us that is so broken that needs to scream out, that needs to be held, that needs to cry.
Oh, yeah. And anytime I've had those moments, like when I first moved to LA a couple years ago, it was hard. I left my daughter in the Bay. She was 16 at the time. And, but I knew she wanted to come to college here. So I needed to come out here first. We don't have family here. I know people, but I don't trust anyone with my daughter. Like, I don't have someone to call if there was an emergency. So she was like, Mom, I'm going to stay with Grandma and Grandpa. And, when I graduate high school, I want to go to SoCal for college anyways. Just go set up shop. So I was flying home every other weekend, right, to see her. And we're like this. We FaceTime every day. And there were days that I had so much guilt and so much shame because I felt like I had failed as a mother. How do I leave her? But then I'm like, no, but every person has a sacrifice in their life. This is my sacrifice. This is what I have to do. If God is calling me, the Spirit is leading me to go to LA, I have to trust that. And when I tell you, I would scream at night, sometimes crying, and I would get on my knees and ask God, why do I have to do this? Why can't I build my career with my daughter? Why? And I got my answer eventually. And now my daughter has a full ride scholarship to UC Irvine. And where she's so excited. She's going to be 30 minutes from Mama now. And you know what I mean? But it's like, you have to learn to just be okay with feeling these emotions, but letting them go out and asking for healing. You know, don't be ashamed to ever get on your knees and pray for healing. You know, don't be you have the healing power. If you were to go like this when you're feeling that, you take a couple breaths and you're like, and you claim healing over yourself. You can do a lot of magic on yourself if you really believe that you can heal yourself, and you can. You know?
And I think the first step of that is just to get real with your fears and get real with your trauma and get real with your pain
Yeah.
And it's so hard because there's so many distractions. I think, motherhood is one of the most rewarding and challenging at the same time, because you're literally molding another person, another individual. And I think I've always had this moment of ideas of thinking that, we put our parents on pedestals. Mom's supposed to be superheroes. Your father's supposed to be, this amazing just person. And when you get older, you realize, wow, my mom was just a 21-year-old woman, a 27-year-old woman, a 36-year-old woman, a 50-year-old woman with her own story, with her own trauma, with her own pain, trying to raise me, trying to pour into me. And when I realized that, Arie, I think that was my real time where I was able to do that switch. Because all we can do is want to do better for our children. But I'm sure there's one day that my Kylie, who I think that I'm an amazing mommy, is going to look back and say, you let me down on that. Is going to look back and say, well, my mom was always busy or doing whatever, or on Instagram, because but you have to be able to accept those things, look at those things in the mirror, and then do better. So I've already asked Kylie for feedback. Girl, my 10-year-old, she'll be 10 next Saturday. She will give me some feedback, okay, honey? And she will let me know. But that's just important. Because at the end of the day, we're just human. I'm trying to get my little, swagger back, having a good time. But I'm still a mom. And you can't let that guilt stop us. I have another really good girlfriend who sacrifices for her children so much. She put her babies before herself all the time. But there comes a time where, my baby, you have to put yourself first.
Yeah.
You got to take care of you. And by you coming out here, Arie, and making that sacrifice and making sure that you had something stable in LA for your daughter, we always, when we're in that moment, we think like, oh, this is the worst thing that's happening to me right now, and how am I going to do this? And you ever look back and the dust settles?
Yeah. And you're like, oh, look at that. I got through that, And, I mean, you just got, and you have to be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I know I became a single mom when my daughter was a year old. So I've been a single mom my whole life with her. And I was a super young mom. And I did not have a boyfriend for 16 years because I put my daughter first. And I would date all the wrong men.
But now, hold on. Now, let's keep it real with everybody today. Now, did you have a boyfriend, Arie? But did you have a little boo that came over, like, on Saturday night?
Of course. I'm still a woman.
Okay. Okay, I'm like, yeah, look. No, I'm like, you got to keep it real with us. You did not go 16 years. Okay.
No. Oh, no, listen, I never said I was the Virgin Mary either, okay?
Right. No.
All I said was, but I put my daughter first, and I was like, no, I'm a single mom. I need to make sure I'm there, that I'm present. It was just my daughter and my career. My daughter and my career, that was my thing. And finally, when I moved to LA, I was like, okay, and it actually started probably when she was like 15, right before I moved, because she'd be like, Mom, can you take me to the movies? And I'd be like, okay, can I come? She's like, can you just, yeah, but do you mind just like sitting on a different row?
Yeah.
Or, when she was starting to hang out with her friends.
Yeah.
And I started thinking like, oh my God, my little best friend is leaving me. Like, she's starting to grow up now. Like, it's not just mommy and me now. And then that's when I started thinking, okay, and I had to talk with my mom. She was like, well, Arie, maybe it's time that you find a companion. Find a man that can,
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And that's when I kind of like jumped back in the dating scene. But
yeah. And I think it's good because that's important. I think that when you become a mom, I know when I became a mother and I was married, I lost my whole identity. I was like signing off on my Instagram, like name is like love, Kevin's wife and Kylie's mommy. I was no
you did not, did you?
I was no Kasiopia. And I had literally lost my identity because I had so much of my own trauma that was wrapped into this package of like this great family dynamic that I always wanted to have, right? And so if you don't have your own identity and you put that all in your kids, your kids will go off to college and your kids will live their own lives. And then you're stuck having to start over at 40.
Yeah.
And something just woke me up in 2015 and said, you need to live your best life, And I'm still, it's almost like a ritual that you have to practice of like, I am Kasiopia. I am amazing. I am
Oh,
good
yes.
enough, you know, and just continue to push that and tell yourself that. A couple of weeks ago, we had Nicole Arie Parker on, and she just brought us all to this idea of mirror talk, of looking
Oh, yeah.
yourself dead in that mirror. And I was like, I need to do this. I have to do this. And I think that for so long, so often, women have felt like either you're a great mom or you have a relationship and are working out and have a career. Like you couldn't do it all. You couldn't have it all. And I think
Right.
this new generation of women, we are like, no. We have it all. We
Yep.
bake the cake. We get the ingredients. We put it in the oven. We slice it. We serve it, and we give out pieces of it. Because this is not the 50s anymore. We're not only just, you know, baking cookies and that's it. There's so many other layers to women. Because I guarantee you, Arie, those women in the 50s, they were going into their rooms with their little camisoles or whatever else, and they were breaking down.
Oh,
and they were unhappy. And they were unfulfilled. And they were lonely in their marriage. And they didn't go past, they didn't find their purpose. They didn't tap into that.
Yep. Yeah.
And so,
and like it's funny because that's another thing that I think is a big issue also, is like women breaking barriers as far as like traditional and upbringing, you know, customs, because I come from a very traditional Mexican family. Like my father is like the man of the house. My mother is the woman of the house. Beautiful marriage. They've been married. Thank you, Jesus. They've been married for about 55 years. They're still in love. They don't eat breakfast, lunch, or dinner without each other. They don't take a trip without each other. I mean, a beautiful example of love and all of that stuff. But my father, he had to stop going to school when he was 6 years old. My mother had to drop out when she was 14 years old. My father has 14 siblings. My mother has 10 siblings. So they come from a huge family, right? I have huge.
You got all kind of tios and tias.
Yeah. Oh my God. Do I what? And they're born and raised in Mexico. So when they came here, you know, it was like the survivor, like they got to survive. They have to do the best. They dealt with a lot of racism, being Hispanic and not being able to speak English, not knowing how to do math, all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So when I started working, because I'm originally from Silicon Valley, from Santa Clara, when I started working in tech, my father would be like, oh my God, you have an amazing 9 to 5 and you're making X amount of dollars a week and you have 401k. And I was not happy. Right. And I'm like, Dad, I'm not happy. I need to like get into school so I can get back into production and do the things that really like make me happy. Like I need to have a bigger platform so I can help transform lives. This is my passion. I like helping people. Yeah. And he was so upset at one point. Like, I don't understand. You're blah, 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 blah. Now he is my biggest cheerleader. I made it a point, like, I'm going to prove it to you that I can make my dreams come true. That there is more than just getting by. There is more than continuing the cycle of surviving. There is more than just enough. Yeah. And now he is like, oh my God, I'm so proud. And he is like my biggest supporter. 2 years ago, I wrote my second book called Rising from Within. Yes. And my father is my co-author on it. Oh, 72 years old from Mexico, became a first-time author. Oh, and there's stories that he's instilled in me, and it's another great book. It's about finding, like, you have all the tools within you already to be great. Yeah. And you just got to figure those out. You got to find them. You got to do the work on yourself. Yeah. You know, Arie, my father, he's passed away, but he has been, I'm really tapping into like the inspiration and the role that he played in my life and my upbringing and me being the woman who I am today. And I just feel like, you know, if we think about, especially for Black fathers or even for, you know, our Latino fathers, they sacrificed so much and made a way, you know, for us. And so thinking about you guys writing the book together, and I know that you kind of shared a little bit, but what is one powerful lesson that your father taught you? I would say the one that I always hear in my mind, probably on a daily, is he always says, don't let people have so much effect over you, because every head is its own world. Every mind is its own world.
Okay.
And so people are always going to have certain perceptions of you. They're going to have judgments. There's always going to be people that do things that you don't agree with, that you don't accept with, people that are about to let you down, that disappoint you. Don't take it personal. If you learn not to take things personal, accept that every single person is their own individual, that they have their own mind is a whole nother world that you don't understand.
Yeah.
Then you learn to not take things personal, and you can maneuver through life better.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't worry about what people have to say. Don't worry about what people think about you. Don't worry. As long as you have a good heart and you remember that they're right, they have their own right to their own opinion, you're going to live happy in this world.
Yeah. I've been working on that so much, Arie. I have really been in this journey. I'm a people person. I love people. I get energy from people. And I had really been in a place, Arie, where I care about what people said. You know, and I would like listen, I would get everybody's opinions and ask everybody their feelings about this, and I would take all that different world and different perspective, you know, into me. And I just got to a place, you know, where I've just really been just standing on my own 2 feet and just really like listening to that voice inside of me that can figure it out. I love all the comments that are coming in. Ashley says, no control over people's thoughts. Like, barely can have control over your own. Because when we try to control how people think and interact, girl, you're going to wear yourself out. You're going to wear yourself completely out. And it's not about controlling. See, because we don't have to control their thoughts, but I'm also going to let you know how you're going to treat me.
Yeah, but you don't even need to tell people how to treat you, because the way you treat yourself is how you set up the barriers for how people are allowed to treat you.
Come on, say that one more time, Arie. I need you to stamp that. I need to get that on that's going to go in the book.
Yeah, because how can you tell a man to treat you with respect when you don't respect yourself? How can you ask for things that you're not willing to do for yourself? If my boyfriend knows he has to respect me, love me, and treat me like a princess because I carry myself that way, and I also do that for him. So there's an unspoken word. There's a language, like, I carry myself like this. So the fact that you think that you can treat me or talk to me any other way has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with you, and I will just politely leave the table. It's that simple. I don't even have to tell you what you're doing wrong. You just won't hear from me again, because I will excuse myself politely from the table. You'll figure it out one day.
You're like, what happened to Arie? I ain't heard from her. You know, they start hitting you up like, where you been? I ain't heard from you. What's up? You're like, oh, because you didn't make the cut.
2 years ago, true story, I changed my phone number on everybody, and I paid a company to unfollow everyone on my Instagram down to 0. I ran into a guy that I dated. He's pretty much like an ex-boyfriend, but I dated him like 7 years on and off, you know, but he was in the NFL and lived in New York. So it was one of those long distance, but he was like my boo, my entertainment, my good, you know, vacations and stuff like that. And just a good friend. And one day I just got tired of everybody having access to me. I got tired of it. Like, I need to level up. I'm doing work and you guys are still not doing nothing. Why do I have to give you guys this access? I'm walking through the Grove and I run into him. And he says, hey,
first of all, were you cute?
Of course. You know, you never know. I get dressed up and put red lipstick just to go pump gas.
Okay.
Listen, honey, if there's an accident, the firemen come, I gotta be looking cute and smelling
good.
Don't play.
Like, I'm ready. Arie stays ready.
But check this out. So he sees me. He's like, hey, I DM'd you. And I'm like, oh, really? I didn't see it. And he goes, yeah. And I sent you a text, but it didn't go through. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I changed my number. And he was like, okay, well, you know, what is it? Like, and I was like, oh, well, I mean, I'm just not really giving it out. And he goes, did I do something to you? I go, no, honey, you didn't do anything. And he was like, then what's the problem? I go, that's the problem. You never did anything. You get what I'm saying? You
never did nothing.
You never did nothing. Know. You never set the tone of, I want to be with you. I want you in my life forever. So why should you have access to me forever?
Ooh.
Right?
Why should you have access for me forever? You know, I've been doing that too, Arie. Girl, if I meet someone,
look at all these little hearts on the side going up.
I know.
Everyone said yes, sis.
Well, listen, when I meet somebody, Arie, I don't even save numbers anymore, because that's how dispensable you are to me. I'm not even saving numbers, because at any point in time, you didn't do enough, and you're not giving enough.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
But you got to
That's
give
it.
people a fair chance. You should probably lock their number in. I think you should change that, sis, because that's you going in already ready for it to fail.
You know what, Gabe? We're not gonna turn this into "this is the time is now." We're not gonna turn this into
a coaching session online.
Arie was ready to give me some. She's like, now what trauma is that about that you're not saving those numbers? Okay, that'll be next week, y'all. We'll hop on live during the middle of the week for dating 101.
There you go. Oh my God, we should totally do dating 101.
Definitely. I know our time is kind of coming. I want to give a book. One of your books. I want to gift a book to someone who's been here, who just kind of really interacted with us and left a great comment. So my sister is tracking comments. I'll share out who I'm going to give to. But and still, and everybody else, while you're here, you know, what is one thing that really resonated with our conversation today? If you just drop a comment and we'll announce that. But Arie, thinking about the woman that you are today and where you are, and just accomplished and still grinding and still purposeful. Mm-hmm. What would you go back and tell yourself, 7th grade self? That 7th grade self who is sitting in her desk.
Yep.
What would you tell her?
Everything you dream, everything that is in your heart, you will make it happen.
Everything that is in your heart,
you will make it happen.
What was in your heart in 7th grade, Arie?
Being on television, having my own show, watching Cristina on Univision at the time, watching El Gordo y la Flaca, and just wanting to be that Latin influencer, that role model for women, like, you know, like me when I was little. Yeah. And I'm making all those dreams happen. And I think along the way, I have had so much self-doubt in certain moments. The 17 cents. How, God, how? I sacrificed everything. I closed my businesses. I had 33 people that went, you know, that I left without a job, that, you know, that were a part of me. And I followed your lead, and here I am again, broke again, unemployed again. How? Yeah. Like, how is this possible? And all those little things were stepping stones. But at the time, I thought, why again? Maybe I'm not worthy. Maybe I don't have what it takes. Maybe that promise I just made up in my own head. And I would go back and tell myself, no, girl, everything that's in your heart, you're going to make it happen. Yeah. You're going to make it happen. Yeah. So I think everyone that's watching needs to know that there will be naysayers. There will be obstacles. Your ground will shake right under you. But if you continue to focus on the kingdom, whatever that kingdom looks like for you, if you continue to focus on that, your foundation will be so sturdy that even though it shakes, it's not going to knock you down. Yeah. And you know what? And if it does knock you down, you will get back up. Get back up. We will get back up, and we have gotten back up. Your grandmothers, my grandmothers, women have been getting back up all of the time. Mm-hmm. And they've all gotten to that place where they've been like, the time is now. The time is now for us to do this. And there's no longer, you know, waiting and holding on to that. And I love that piece, because we all have those little dreams in our hearts. You know, whoever's on this call right now. I see my niece. I see my niece Taylor on here. Hi, Taylor. She is Taylor too. She is phenomenal. She is all about women empowerment too, and using her voice, and 20 years old, and just amazing. I love her to pieces. So imagine if every woman and every little girl could do this work, and we could all just get together in a room and just share and pour into each other. Girl, nothing could stop us. Yeah. Nothing really could stop us. And, you know, just, we really have to tap into that. And it is a daily practice. It is a daily reminder. It is, and it's really shifting the people around you. If you have people in your circle or in your corner, and you are not getting this kind of self-talk, this kind of healing, this kind of pump you up. You got this, girl. What are you working on this week? Let's make this happen. The time is now. Then it is time for you to look into people who you like on Instagram, maybe. People who you see in other places, and say, hey, can you be my mentor? Can you pour into me? Arie has coaching. You like what Arie say?
take a coaching next month in August, once a call meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and build that sisterhood to
Right.
get you where you need to go.
Yeah.
Because you have
So
to have
true.
that, because there's a true battle against us.
Yep. And I think it comes down to investing in yourself. And investing doesn't always have to be a dollar amount investment. It could be listening to that podcast. It can be, you know, figuring out what your favorite cup of coffee is. It can be sitting in the bathtub with your self-care and things like that. And I want to talk about, it's so true about elevating your tribe and your circle. I have a podcast for all of you that are on here and are resonating with everything we're saying. Please check out my podcast. They're short 8 to 12 minute podcasts. I go on a rant just like this. Like, I just talk about something that's bothering me or something I need to get off my chest, or my spirit is yelling at me to say some words. It's called The Hope Dealer. And The Hope Dealer with host Arie Rose. You can also click it. The link is in my bio. So you guys, after this, you can follow my Instagram and click it and listen. The last podcast I just did 5 days ago, it's called Elevate Your Tribe. And I talk specifically about this because people want to elevate and want to grow, but they're around all the wrong people.
Yeah.
I need to be around people that are doing what I'm doing, that have done already where I'm headed, that have gone through it, that have been through the obstacles. I want to become an investor. I need to hang around with people that have investment properties, that are doing what I want to do. You gotta surround yourself with better people. The friends from kindergarten and junior high and high school and college, it's all great. It's all amazing. That doesn't mean they're bad people, but everyone has their own lane and their own purpose. Some people are career driven. Some people are family driven. Some people are comfortable with 9 to 5. Some people are comfortable being dreamers. There is no right journey. There is only your journey, and you have to surround yourself with people that match your journey.
Yeah.
People that understand you, people that, they don't have to see your vision, but you have to surround yourself with people that are doing the things you want to do. Look at my girl Ava is on here, Ava Hill. I met her working at a hotel. She is now on Quibi, whatever, however you call it, that TMZ app. She has her own show, co-hosting. Wow. I was working at the hotel. She got a role in
Keep going, Ava.
She got a role in, what was the show that you did a role in? And she told me, she was like, Arie, I got this. It's a small part as a reporter. I literally started crying for her. Yeah. I was so excited because I'm like, I know what the dream is like. You got this. And I'm like a huge fan of hers, a huge fan. And I still check in with her.
And that's the thing. When my girls win, it is a win. When my girls have an amazing day.
Look, Saints and Sinners. There you go. You can see her on Saints and Sinners.
Tune in, you guys, to Saints and Sinners. And good job, boo. We're so proud of you. But when my girls win, I feel it.
Yes.
Like, I feel it. It's a win for me, too.
Yes.
When trying to get a cute pair of shoes, I'm like, yes. Because I care that much, and I'm that invested into my friends and into my groups and into, you know, what we have to win. And I refuse to let those people who refuse to clap for us when we win,
right, to
even get into that. And even affects me, because we're all in this together. Mm-hmm. Your win, Arie, could be a win for me down the line. You could say, oh yeah, I have this great girl.
Absolutely.
That's what we should be doing. We should be putting each other on, investing in ourselves, investing in our own brown and black community.
But you gotta really be about it. Don't talk the talk, you know, and I know that everyone's at a different point in their life, but like when this whole woman empowerment lane really took off, I'm speaking on so many panels and I'm realizing that there's women that are preaching woman empowerment but are so catty behind the scenes.
Right.
And I don't understand. I've had women that speak on my panels that I've paid to speak and don't even take a picture with me so that I can like post and say thank you to them. So you know what I mean? It's like, if you really are about it, like be about it. And if you're not, like find your own lane, you know what I mean? But be genuine when it comes to applauding for people and be happy for people. Like don't be envious of people. Find your own lane so that you can be that girl that has inner joy and is really happy for other people.
Yeah. And it all goes down to doing that work.
Doing the work.
Goes back to doing the work on you.
Absolutely.
Facing your traumas.
Absolutely.
Getting those showers and getting that cry out, getting that scream out, making that intentional time for you, because that's how you're going to show up and be a better mom, be a better friend, be a better coach,
Yep.
be a better person. That is
Yep.
it.
Absolutely. And most importantly, be authentic.
Keep it real.
When
Because
you are,
you can feel when somebody's not authentic from jump.
yep. I always tell people, be authentic and find your own individuality.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where you find true happiness. Because when you're trying to be other people, it comes with a lot of ugliness that just isn't cute. And I just want to end this with saying, and God still don't like ugly, sis. So
He don't. He not gonna bless that mess, right? You gotta be.
He's not gonna bless that mess.
Isn't that funny? I just came with that. He ain't gonna bless that mess.
God won't bless no mess.
And if you're messy, it's true, and it's a part of that. But Arie, our time is almost running out. I mean, this felt like
I had so
I
much
feel like we have been here
fun.
only like 10 minutes, just kind of.
I know, me too. That's why when you said, "I know we're coming to a close," I was like, "Really? What?"
I know. I know.
So much fun.
It's been that good. And
Thank
you
you
know what? This was
so
just
much.
really refreshing. Each week, I want to give, you know, my women and our supporters and the love, I want to give them different perspectives. Yeah. And I wanted a powerhouse Latina boss who was rooted. I loved what you shared about your parents and their, you know, them coming here and making a way out of no way. And the woman that you became, it's just so inspirational, so powerful. And other voices and other experiences are so important.
So important.
And so necessary. And so, you know, thank you so much. I know that we had a lot of people just putting comments and resonating with everything. My sister was helping me keep track. And so we're going to give Fight the Funk, your book, to Candace. So if Candace, you're still in here, I will DM you. She just was saying, like Ashley said, some great comments. Nisha is always giving up. Nisha is one of my best friends too, and she just supports me every week, Nisha.
That's
so
amazing.
I see you, I love you, and everyone. But this was
I just want to say thank you so much for allowing me to come onto your platform and your show. This is your lane. Keep on shining. This is for you. This is for you, sis. And just thank you for coming into my life so recently and just loving me and embracing me. And I just appreciate you. You're a beautiful person.
And I got your back, and it's real. And call me anytime. And, you know, ladies, when you walk away from these conversations, take a minute and just jot down some notes and just affirm on that for this week, y'all. Because we are up a pandemic. We are up against, you know, race and everything. It's just so heavy. It's so heavy. And so we just need this time sometimes just to be ourselves. Check out her podcast, The Hope Dealer.
Yes, please go listen to it, guys. Listen to this, and when you're done, call your energy back into you today. That's your homework for today. I'm such a coach all the time.
Yeah,
your homework
like
is
you're gonna wrap up like great. So our exit ticket for today is, you guys, that's the teacher.
Yes, listen to the podcast.
Guys, you know, listen to the podcast. And just comment and hit Arie in her, you know, DM.
Yes, DM me, say hello, check in, give me a follow. I am here for all of you.
Oh, Anisha said this was powerful. We love you, ladies. Thanks for tuning in. I will see y'all next Saturday. The time is now. Women, glam, boss, and race. We can do it all. Thank you, Arie.
Thank you, honey. Bye-bye.
Love y'all. Thank you, Karma. Thank you, Arie. Thank you, Nisha. Candace, you got the book, girl. Thank y'all. I love you guys. Have a great, great week. Keep it going. Stay positive. The time is now, y'all.